Hello, welcome to the Making Money with Mace podcast. I'm your host, Mace, and you could still make money with me if you fade me. Been a rough December, hoping to turn that around in January. Gonna review the last week of the NFL season, and it's gonna be a bit of a different sort of review, I'd say, where you have so many teams not playing guys and resting and playoff spots clinched and things of that nature. So we'll get right into it. And this week I'll be putting a bet on every single game. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Houston, Indy on Saturday will have bets. Then every game on Sunday will also have a bet. Playoff implications or not, these games will feature a bet. So, like I said, let's get right into it. Talk some teams and just injury stuff. And obviously there's a crown jewel sort of game, and that will be the big focus, the big fun one to talk about. And again, some teams are not playing guys, some teams are playing everybody. Should be a interesting week nonetheless. So, starting off, Pittsburgh at Baltimore. Baltimore, I don't know who's not playing defensively. I know Tyler Huntley's starting. I don't know who, is Isaiah Likely starting? Is Zay Flowers starting? Are those guys going to be playing? Because if those guys are playing, Tyler Huntley will have some really good pass catchers. The offensive line will likely all play. I don't expect them to sit Tyler Linderbaum and put guys in danger against Cam Hayward. So with that being the case, I think Baltimore is overall better than Pittsburgh. It depends on who's playing Baltimore defensively. I don't think there's I'm going to pull up their injury report real quick. But Baltimore is very deep. If Kyle Hamilton is playing, you can almost rest assured they're going to win. Tyler Huntley is a proven quality backup. He plays well. So Ronald Darby's questionable. Hamilton's questionable. Marlon Humphrey's questionable. Zay's questionable. Andrews is questionable, or he's on IR. KVN, Brandon Stephens, Arthur Millette, Patrick Queen, Deshaun Phillips, Kevin Zeitler are all questionable. So, yeah, there might be. It depends on who's playing. I'll be making a more concise bet once we figure out who's actually playing. So, but I'm leaning Baltimore just to begin with because I think they're much, much better. And if that entire defense is playing, I think that Pittsburgh's going to have some really hard times. And Pittsburgh is playing for a playoff spot. They are an underdog. They're even more of an underdog now. It opened at 2.5. They're more of a favorite now, which means Baltimore's a home dog. I know that they have the one spot clinched up, but I don't necessarily expect them to not play hard. Yeah. I just think they're a better team overall. Houston at Indy with everything on the line. Indy opened as a 1-point favorite. It is now Houston as a 1-point favorite. I think that's a lot of belief in CJ Stroud. A lot of belief in the Texans on the whole. I know that Gardner Minshew's had a rough couple of weeks. Not even a rough couple of weeks. It's just that you can't really count on how hurt Indy is and how, sort of backup reliant they are, and when will it all sort of end for them. That's sort of the vibe Indy has, where it's just they're hanging on to dear life. Hanging on to dear life at all given points in time, and all those, they've managed to fight through it. They've done a really good job. Houston's done the same thing, but I think Houston is slightly more talented and slightly healthier where it really counts. I know that, Indy doesn't really they're not really a trend team aside from the fact that everything always goes over, so that's probably the bet. They're 11-5 to the over this year. Houston's only 6-10 to the over, but you have to remember some games were early in CJ's career and missing CJ were some of those under games. So I think they'll be able to put up points against a pretty dinged up Indy secondary. I know that Indy beat them back in week 2, but they were much healthier. Anthony Richardson was playing. I think Houston's probably got it. I think that they also just stand more to make the playoffs, whereas Indy, obviously you want to have that playoff game, want to potentially win the division, but I think Houston probably has a better shot of winning. this game just because CJ's been better than Minshew this year. So we'll see. Obviously, we'll see how it happens. But I'm leaning Houston for sure. First game, some good old-fashioned hate. Atlanta at New Orleans. I'm probably going to take Atlanta in this game, or the under. I don't know. Both teams have been scoring a little bit more lately. And I know that Atlanta beat them 24-15. They are a better home team than they are a road team, but Atlanta winning would just be very NFC South. And they actually have a bit of a win. What's it called? New Orleans is a little bit better, like on paper and everything. That's why they're favorites, but Atlanta money line might not be the worst thing to throw some cash on. There's no like reasonable explanation other than I think Atlanta could probably just beat them, especially because New Orleans' run defense isn't very good, and all Atlanta wants to do is run the ball. I know that their last game was a loss at Chicago, but this is in a dome, and they're much, much better inside, as most of their wins have come in domes. So take that as you will. I'm taking it. I think I'll be taking Atlanta money line in this one. Cleveland at Cincy. I think Cleveland's resting everybody, and Cincy's got nothing to play for. Need to look up the Cleveland injury report. I mean, Cleveland, they've got the top wild card clinched. They can't go higher than that. So I think they're resting Flacco, probably resting Myles Garrett. It's going to be a weird one to bet on, for sure. Let me take a look at that Browns injury report, because the Browns injury report honestly matters more. Depends on who's playing in that defense. Who's playing offensively. All right, here we go. Geez, so Joe Bitonio did not practice. Amari Cooper did not practice. Flacco practiced. Myles Garrett practiced. Daron Harmon's on the team. Shout out Daron Harmon. He was limited. Dustin Hopkins is the kicker, which Kareem Hunt didn't practice. Greg Newsome didn't. David Njoku. Agbo Okronkwo did not. Or he's limited, rather. Anthony Walker did not practice. Ethan Pochich did not practice. And then you got T. Higgins did not practice, but Awuzie Chase and Jalen Davis all practiced. So I think that you're going to have a lot of Browns not playing. And if there's a lot of Browns not playing, there's probably a good shot that Cincy just wins one last one. Prideful win sort of thing. I don't know if they'll be doing the draft positioning thing. Jake Browning's probably going to get the start. Cincy's a better home team. Actually, this is the way to look at it too. Cincy's a much better home team than they are a road team. And Cleveland is a much, much better home team. They're 8-1 at home, 3-4 away. It's probably going to be DTR, PJ Walker. And again, guys have pride. Guys are going to try to win, all that stuff. I don't think Cincy's eliminated technically. Like, I need to look up AFC playoff scenarios real quick. So they're going to be playing hard for it. They might be eliminated. 1 second. All right. Cincy eliminated. I think Cincy's eliminated. Yep. So, okay. So, as things are slated, Indy at Miami, Buffalo at KC, Cleveland at Jacksonville, wildcard round by Baltimore. Houston win or Jacksonville loss or tie, and they clinch. The Texans can win. Yeah, so it's Houston win or Jacksonville loss or tie. Houston tie plus Jacksonville loss plus Pittsburgh loss or tie. So since he's not in it, but it might just be a pride game for sure. For sure. So, yeah. I'd take Cincy in this one. Cleveland's going to be resting literally everybody. New York Jets at New England Patriots under. We're going to get, what, Bailey Zappi and Trevor Siemian going at it in the snow. Belichick's last game, hopefully. Zappi scares me against that defense because obviously the offensive line will not be good. Vidarian Lowe is going to be playing left tackle instead of Trent Brown. Trent Brown and the Patriots have had their issues, and that matters when you're facing a defense as talented as the Jets defense. I know that they've had some rugged games against Cleveland and Miami and these other teams, but they're coming off a long rest. They probably want to break the losing streak, almost like a college atmosphere. Yeah, I mean, and the Patriots stink at home. They're 1-6 at home. They do not win games at home. So that's something that he's not accounted for nearly enough. And the whole idea is like, oh, Belichick, all of them. Unless like Quinnen Williams, like unless like the entire Jets defense is not playing, I just don't see them losing this week against Bailey Zappi. Like they almost beat Zach Wilson was a Hail Mary away from beating the Patriots earlier this year. The margin of error is like not close at all. Obviously, the margin of error for the Patriots is not small at all. So, is Miles Bryant not going to play? That's a huge issue. Hunter Henry's probably not playing. Like, I'm looking at who's hurt, right? So, you can count on Slater and Tavai to play. Devontae Parker, who knows? Jonathan Jones, he's been playing through stuff, so he might be playing. Anthony Jennings has been playing through stuff. Hunter Henry, who knows? Pharaoh Brown, who knows? Barmore is probably going to play. But it's like, so you've got that whole situation where you're going to be getting some guys playing. If no Miles Bryant, that's an issue. Because pass rush has been an issue for the Patriots, and that's obviously the main way to beat teams, especially the Jets, is through the pass rush. I know that Barmore can game wreck, but if he's not 100%, there's, it could be an issue. Especially if Simeon just gets the ball out quick. John Franklin Myers is fully healthy, which is who I was wondering about. But it's like if you get that full defense, it's going to be really hard to beat. It's going to be really hard for Bailey Zappi to do anything against a defense that plays really hard, really fast, mixes up coverage, has great corners, great linebackers. Like the way they're good at defense is not through like overwhelming pass rush and things like that. It's through making quarterbacks have miserable, miserable, miserable days. And with those quarterbacks having miserable, miserable, miserable days, especially one like Bailey Zappi who just loves to turn the ball over. And, I really think the Jets are going to beat the Patriots on Sunday. And again, the Patriots don't win at home. And frankly, the Jets beating the Patriots on Sunday would be worse for the Jets than anything else, especially if they get the young quarterback in the building who's really good. So I'm sort of hoping for that scenario. I'm knocking on wood for it, but who knows? But I definitely don't see more than 30 points. That's crazy talk. It just is. So make of that what you will. The Jets defense is significantly better than the Patriots offense, and the Patriots defense is much better than the Jets offense, but not nearly as better as the Jets defense is than the Patriots offense, if that makes sense. Like the two units are obviously defensive led teams. The Jets special teams are significantly better than the Patriots special teams, and the Jets defense is better than the Patriots defense, and both offenses are about the same. So make of that what you will. Moving on to the next game, Jacksonville at Tennessee Titans. Ooh, it's in Nashville. This might be a Vrabel special. Depends on Trevor's health, obviously. Let me look at Jaguars injury report. The Jaguars have sneaky been really, really beat up. No one's really been mentioning it, but they've lost a lot of really key contributors through most of the year. Andre Sisco was out, Tyson Campbell was out, I saw, and it's basically Josh Allen holding everything together. And it's Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker against a really bad pass blocking unit. They're really injured, but I don't know. This could be the game. This could be the Vrabel special. Derrick Henry, one last rumble, bumble, stumble. So I think I really think that the Jaguars should win this game and should just cruise into the divisional round. So I think we're going to be seeing that. I really do. I think Jacksonville's going to win this game. Or they won't cruise, but they'll cruise into a playoff game. They're so much better than Tennessee, but it could be a Vrabel special. They could cover. It's a big spread. It's at 5 now, 5.5 some places. Open at 3.5. I almost like the cover and maybe the over as well. So that's what I'm thinking with that one. We move on to Minnesota at Detroit. I don't know what the scenarios are. I think Minnesota's eliminated. Let me look at playoff scenarios again. Playoff scenarios. NFC. NFL.com. Okay. So, NFC. San Fran has the 1 seed. Looking at this. San Fran has the 1 seed. Detroit's currently the 2 seed. Dallas is the 3 seed. Oh, okay. I see it. So, San Fran, Detroit, Dallas, LA, Philly have all clinched. Atlanta can win the division with a Tampa Bay loss, right? So they could have that playoff game. The Cowboys could win the NFC East with just a win, a tie, or just Philly losing. The Packers can make the playoffs with a win or a tie, and Seattle tie or loss, New Orleans loss. So there's a lot of scenarios, right? So everybody's playing for everything still. So we're gonna get one of those games, and I think that the Lions are gonna win, if that's the case. I really do. So let's take a look at the line. If for anything, you might want to just take the over 45. That's what the Lions do, right? The last game what was it, 30-24 was the last time. Lions are 11-5 to the over, or 10-6 to the over. Yeah, it was 30-24. Yeah, just take the over for sure. Tampa Bay, Carolina. So I sneaky think Carolina wins this game. I really do. Like, there's just something in my bones thinking they're just going to get one. I don't know. So, that's it. I've got nothing else for this game. Tampa obviously needs to win, and they're a better team, and they should win, and the Panthers are a disaster. But I don't know. It could be an ugly game for Tampa. I mean, that was a weird loss they had, right? Like, they're 4-4 away, 4-4 at home, and Carolina's been much better at home this year. If anything, I think they might cover. I think this will be an uglier game than it needs to be, for sure. So, yeah, make of that what you will. Oh, I want to circle back to the Minnesota game. I just saw something. Minnesota's only 2-6 at home and 5-3 away, which would matter a lot more if Detroit also wasn't really good at home. So Minnesota's really good away. So points. Yeah, Tampa Bay, Carolina. Carolina would be so funny. Like, that'd be such a funny game, right? Like, I would love Carolina to beat them, like how they beat them in October of last year when they played. In 2020, like when they were 13-point dogs and they just beat them outright 21-3. That was sick. So I think Carolina, that's because Carolina have it in them again. I mean, they covered the 3.5 last time. They played them really tough. Can Baker do it again? It'd be really funny. They probably won't. You should probably take Tampa against the spread. It's probably their division to lose at this point. But I kind of love that scenario of Carolina beating them and like the Atlanta winning and the 8-9 team is hosting the Eagles and the Eagles losing. The Eagles or Cowboys losing. Like, that'd be just peak comedy for my purposes. So I want that scenario to happen. I don't think it will. I think Tampa just takes care of business. So then we've got the next game, Dallas at Washington. If Dallas doesn't kill them, they're just the biggest frauds on planet Earth. Washington's trying to get the number 2 pick, and they might even just trade it down, right? So I think, I really think that you should take Dallas, like maybe a little money line spread, or maybe like a Dallas, Dallas spread. Like, the money line's probably a zillion. They're 13-point favorites. They should slaughter them. And like I said, if they don't, they're just frauds. So, I mean, Dallas is so bad on the road, though, but Washington's so bad at home. I don't know. Washington, for a 4-12 team, is 6-9-1 against the spread. I guess the over is in play. Dallas is 8-8 to the over. Washington is 9-7 to the over. I think 45 is a reasonable number, especially head to head. it goes like last year, Washington did this, right, with Sam Howell. And you look at the injury report real quick. Because if it's Jacoby Brissett, if it's Jacoby, like, that could really change things and change who I think is going to... I think Washington will cover, at least if it's Jacoby. But if it's not Jacoby, I mean, probably won't. Probably won't cover. Probably be like a sad game, bad game. Oh my god, yeah. So Jacoby, limited practice. Cam Curl was a full practice. Samuel was a full practice. Jonathan Allen did not practice. I think Kendall Fuller. That's not good. So yeah, Dallas should kill them. It depends on what they do, though. Like, that's a lot of DMP that I just saw in there. It's like Tyler Smith's hurt. Zach Martin did not practice. Jordan Lewis did not practice. Demarcus Lawrence did not practice. That's a lot of did not practice for a team needing a win. And it could just be funny. I don't know. Washington might cover. They might. That's a big number for such a bad road team. Alrighty. They should, like, Dallas should kill them. Like, everything is screaming Dallas wins, but I don't know. Big number. Depends on who's playing. I have an answer closer to game time. So here's a sneaky one. I think the Rams are going to win. I think the Rams, no Stafford, no Kupp, doesn't matter. I think Carson Wentz and Puka sort of carry the day. I mean, San Fran, I know San Fran's sitting a bunch of people on Sammy D. It'll be hard to pick a game like 4-point favorites, 3-point favorites. It's sort of just like the Las Vegas zone. Just take the over in this one, 41, because I think both offenses are good enough structurally that you'll see at least like 21-20. You'll see a high scoring game. Guys will be playing for San Fran. I don't think everybody's going to be sitting. So I like the over in this one, 41. Both teams go over. The Rams defense is still bad. I should say they don't really go over a lot because they have high overs being set. But they're both like really good offenses in the Rams' case, a pretty poor defense. So I like that quite a bit. Next game is the Eagles, the Eagles stink at the Giants on that turf where disaster strikes early and often. It's impossible to take the Eagles in any good faith at this point. So I think taking the Giants is the only thing to do. Like the Giants spread, right? The Eagles haven't covered a game in, the Eagles have not covered since they beat Kansas City. They've pushed and then 5 straight losses. So you can't take them in good faith. And meanwhile, the Giants are kind of in a cover heater, especially with Tyrod playing. So you got lost once to New Orleans, which bad Tommy DeVito game. Then they cover 14 against Philly, cover 6.5 against the Rams on a punt return. That was a bummer. But, they've been covering a lot lately, and I think they'll do it again. Like they're sort of trying to end the season on a positive note, and Daboll is just trying to keep building blocks together. So I think that will be the case in this one. So we got that going on in New York. Philly's just such a disaster. They really are. So I think that the Giants covering is just the move. Like, I know it's a lower number than last time, but there's no good faith reason to take the Eagles at this point, even with how much better they are on paper than these other teams they've been playing. They just allow too much. They mess around way too much. So we'll see what the injury report is. Everybody should be playing. The Giants should be playing everybody. Play spoiler, just be annoying. So I think we'll get that game. Chicago at Green Bay. This is such a massive game for both teams, and as Big Cat calls it, a gateway game. And in one gateway, you've got, what's it called? Pulling up again. So in one case, Green Bay is owned them, right? The last win that the Bears had was back in 2018. It's not quite a Chiefs against the Broncos or Patriots against the Jets type of streak, but it's still a streak you want to see ended, right? Green Bay plays like a young team. They've been really inconsistent. Their defense is pretty soft. But like that, the Bears are such a different team from when they started the season to how they're playing now. 6-4 straight up, right? 7-2-1 against the spread. The defense has been balling out. They've been beating like teams they should beat. They beat the Lions. They only lost by 3 to the Browns. Like they covered against Detroit back in November. It's like they've had a lot of really tight games, like in games that they're just winning sort of handedly, right? Like they're able to win tight games, they're able to win in different ways. The defense has been super good of late. And I think that Justin Fields will be able to give problems to the Green Bay defense, especially with like how Jair Alexander seems to be checked out. I know that they just played a much better game. That was against Nick Mullins, right? I don't know. I think that, I know it's in Green Bay, but I do think that like 2 years in a row we could see like a spoiler type thing. The only thing that scares me is that Chicago, much better home team than they are a road team, where Green Bay is 50-50 either way. I do like the over in this game. Chicago's 8-7-1 to it. Green Bay is 10-6 to it. I think the over is the play for Chicago at Green Bay. Next game, you got two teams playing for nothing. Unfortunately, wait, is Seattle playing for something? Seattle is playing for something. I think Arizona's going to play spoiler. I really do. It's in Arizona. Seattle's really bad away from home. Kyler's been balling lately, and I think that will just continue. Since Kyler's come back, right? That was the Atlanta game. So since the Atlanta game, they've covered against Atlanta by winning. They covered against Houston by only losing by 5. Got blown out by the Rams. Beat Pittsburgh. Not his fault. He put up 20. His unit put up 29 against San Fran. And again, like pretty bad game against Chicago, but really pretty great game against Philly. And the thing with Seattle is that Seattle's defense is bad. Like they're Seattle just like made Pittsburgh look really good. They gave up a zillion yards to a really bad offense. Like they give up lots of yards to these teams, and they've been sort of scraping by and getting away with it in some cases. I think that we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see Arizona win this one straight up. I'm probably gonna take a money line. I'll probably be one of like I'll sprinkle like 5 on everything at least, but like I'll still do like my 4 best bets and talk about individual games down below. But like my absolute I'll do like a whole slate, and then I don't know, Arizona money line looks real juicy to me. I think they'll do it. Then we've got Denver at Vegas. This is a play for nothing but pride game. You got man, I think the Raiders are going to win just on spite alone. The Raiders have been killing them lately, and I think that will just continue. I think it is in Vegas where they are much better at home than they are away. Vegas is 9-5-2 against the spread. Denver 6-9-1. Vegas 2.5-point favorites. Just going to take them. Probably going to be one of my best bets. Just a good old-fashioned hate game. And then the Chiefs I don't think are playing anybody, but I'm going to take the under. Kansas City at the Chargers. I don't know who's playing quarterback for them. I think Mahomes is sitting. Let me see the injury report. Kansas City injury report. Kansas City injury report. Oh my God. No Chris Jones DNP, Isaiah Pacheco DNP, L'Jarius Sneed DNP, Rashee Rice DNP, Kelsey limited with a neck injury. Blake Bell was a full participant. That's good. They're getting Nick Bolton back, which is huge for their defense. Justin Ross was a full participant, which is cool. So is Donovan Smith. We're definitely not seeing Keenan Allen or Joey Bosa. So I don't know. I think the under is just going to hit, especially if Mahomes doesn't play. But all those guys that I listed above, you're just going to see low quality football, especially if those guys don't play. Especially Pacheco, Rice, like the offense will just be non-functional. So yeah, I think just take the over. So the next game, this is all about. This is what I think is going to happen, just because season-long trends, right? Buffalo is 3-4 away, 7-1 at home. Miami's 4-3 away, 7-1 at home. The game's in Miami. Like, I know Miami's a dog right now. I know they've had a lot of injuries. I know Tua's banged up. Miami injury report. This is from 5 hours ago. Okay. Terran Armstead did not practice. Bradley Chubb, Xavier Howard, Raheem Mostert, Zach Seiler, Jalen Waddle. 10 were limited. I know that Hill had a scary personal situation earlier today, which hope everything's all right there. Yeah, so here's the injury report. It's one of the longest ones in the NFL. Armstead DNP. Chubb, I think, is out for the year. Xavier Howard, I think, is also out for the year. Jalen Waddle did not practice with a bad ankle. Zach Seiler did not practice with an illness. He might go. Raheem Mostert did not practice. At least you have Devin Achane and like other backs. Tua practiced, which is good. Jalen Ramsey did. David Long. Austin Jackson did. Robert Hunt did, which was really good for them. Javon Holland did. So did Liam Eichenberg. He's not the best, but he can play. Same with Lester Cotton. And Jerome, but like they've got guys enough that I think they'll be able to make it work. Especially against a Buffalo defense Buffalo offense that's not been playing very well. I wanted to see what injury he had. Well, yeah, Xavier Howard injury. Because I don't know if he's out for the year. Chubb is. He tore his ACL, which stinks. So Xavier's not expected to play. So this will shift a little bit with injury reports and who's active, but I think that Miami will win. It's in Miami. They can win in different ways. And I'm not going to hold them getting killed in a game where they lost a bunch of people in Baltimore. I'm not going to hold that 2-2 against them. It's such a short turnaround league. So I think we're going to see Miami win. They're a home dog. I love home dogs, especially for a team as bad as Buffalo is away from home. And like Buffalo's struggling with the Patriots. Like I don't really care how well the Patriots defense has been playing. The talent gap is so massive. So, I think we're going to see Buffalo lose to Miami because Buffalo's just been that team all year. I think they'll still make the playoffs. I don't think they will have the nightmare scenario. It could happen, right? They're just winning in regardless, but I do think that Miami will just end up beating them. So we will for sure see how that goes. And I think that'll do it. I think that will do it. And that's been every single regular season game talked about in some form or fashion. And it's been a lot of fun. Can't wait to do it again next year. Thank you everybody for listening. Peace.